how prayer healed my body and reunited my purpose. So back in about 2021, 22, I had to stop doing hair because I had a pinched nerve in my arm, in my elbow. I went and got a test done, a nerve test, and it showed that I had a pinched nerve. Every time I would do hair, my fingers would go numb, my arm would hurt, the nerve would shoot up into my shoulder, to my neck, and it made me stop. So I stopped doing hair and eventually started experiencing more pain later on down the year. So last year, I experienced pain where it would be hard for me to lift my arm up above my shoulder. One day I woke up, I could not completely lift my arm up above my shoulder. So throughout that transition, I did take therapy for 2 years. Therapy did help, but it did not get down to the root problem, right? So that was over the past 2 years, right? So last year, I started back doing hair, but I didn't do it as much. I would do maybe once a week, twice a week. Not even that, maybe 3 times out of the month, because the pain would start coming again, like to the point I thought it was carpal tunnel. I was told it was carpal tunnel. I was told it was all this different stuff. So then one day I was just in church and I had one of the elders pray over me, and he prayed over my arm that was hurting, and then the very next day I was able to lift my arm completely above my head, right? So then that following up that next month, because I would still have pain here and there, but it definitely was progress. It was definitely not what it felt like before. I was able to lift my arm above my head, right? But the pain, as days would go by, it would let up. So that next month I had a second opinion in the doctor to look at my elbow to see because they said I was going to eventually need surgery if potentially the therapy wouldn't help, right? So I went to go get the nerve test done. The nerve test came back negative, that they didn't see anything in my pinched nerve in my elbow. So it reunited, like, not only purpose but faith, like that this is what God intended, right? Like this was one of my gifts that he gave me to utilize and to use. And it just sparked something back, because I was ready to do hair. I didn't even really want to do hair that much. It was like a hobby, but now it's like a passion, because people have said like, oh, this was the therapy session for me, or this really helped, or you started my hair growing back. And I remember one day God called me off from work, and he didn't want me to work. Every job that I would get, I would turn out. He would tell me like, you gotta quit, this and that. So I asked him, I said, what do you want me to do now? Like I took a time back where I just sat down and sat back and said, God, what do you want me to do? And he said, what's in your hand? And he took me back to Moses when he had the staff in his hand, right? And then he was just telling me like, your gifts will make room for you, your gifts will open doors for you, and things like that. So it just united. And then look how many people I can touch and come across where I could pray for them, or they can receive healing too from this journey that I went through just by doing hair. So that ignited my faith. That ignited my purpose to getting back to doing hair again, to use it as a ministry and not just a job, a career, or a hobby. It was more than just a hairstyle and a hair session and things like that. It was pushing me to intercession. It's pushing me to intercede for God's people, to stand in the gap and go to war on the behalf of God's people.